Made a great decision. There's no doubt about it to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, coming to you from the studio they provide for us as well, because you're going to be listening to and watching Mike Gesicki. What a signing. Cincinnati Bengals bring him to Cincinnati on a one-year kind of prove-it deal. He, along with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they light it up. And Gesicki reaps the benefits. 3-year, $25.5 million contract, generational wealth. He's pleased as punch, and rightfully so. We talk about his high school years, what a great athlete he was, multi-sport star. We talk about his career at Penn State, and then, of course, with the Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, and then the Cincinnati Bengals. And we look to what he can do to even take his game to another level, his relationship with Joe Burrow, how they both see the field through the same eyes. All kinds of great stuff about Mike Gesicki, the football player, and Mike Gesicki. This is your life. We know there's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, and we do appreciate when you decide to spend some time with us, and that is In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, emanating from our incredible studios that they also provide for us, and we have got an incredible guest. This guy is a phenomenal football player, but on top of that, just a tremendous husband, friend to teammates. I mean, it's just a great human being, and you know, you celebrate when good things happen to good people. And a good thing happened for Mike Gesicki and his family. A 3-year contract with the Cincinnati Bengals for over $25 million. I mean, that is a generational wealth, Mike. I mean, when you started playing sports, did you ever think that you'd be enjoying these kind of fruits of the labor?
My goal was always to, be a professional athlete. When I was younger, it was basketball. And then, as I got older and realized my potential in football. But to say that, you always had this vision of this, these kind of dollar amounts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's obviously always the goal, but to finally achieve it's been really cool.
So you mentioned, back in your high school years, Southern Regional High School in New Jersey, a Jersey
Yep.
guy. Spent some time at the shore myself. Loved the
There you
Jersey Shore. You set school records for basketball in your high school. Points scored, 1,866. Unbelievable. In football, you set records. 103 catches, 1,817 yards. In volleyball, you set school records.
Yeah.
519 blocks. I mean, were you like a scholarship athlete, all these sports, and you just decided football was the best avenue?
Yeah. I mean, basketball was my first love when it came to athletics. Played it from the time I was just a little kid. My dad used to coach my sisters, and I would just end up in the gym when he was coaching them and just playing sports. And that's kind of how I got involved with it. And then as I got older, started playing football when I got into middle school. And then volleyball when I got into high school. Both my sisters played before that, and I kind of got into it there. And had some offers to play basketball at like some Patriot League schools, Colgate, Bucknell, schools like that. And then got recruited to play volleyball at Penn State before I got recruited to play football there, which was just like a interesting thing to kind of experience. And then finally got some big time scholarships for football, and decided to chase that dream because of the potential that it could take me. So
I mean, your athleticism is incredible. 41.5-inch vertical jump. You're 6'6", what, around 250 pounds, somewhere in that range?
245, yeah.
245. 41.5-inch vertical. I don't know if now, but I mean, that was in your day.
I'm still feeling good.
You can still get up 40 anyway?
Yeah.
40-inch
I think so, yeah.
That dog hunt right there. Broad jump almost 11 feet, 10.9, whatever it was. Your 40 time, 4.5 in that range. You have an arm length of over 34 inches. You have a hand of 10 and a quarter. I mean, you're long, big hands. You can run. And the thing I think that separates you, Mike, and I think the thing that intrigued the Cincinnati Bengals, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, is, man, for your size, you can get in and out of cuts. You run, and you can get in and out of cuts without choking it down to do it. I mean, you're a big wide receiver from a physical talent standpoint.
Yeah.
And as a result, your versatility, I think, was a big attraction to the Cincinnati Bengals because they feel like they can play you anywhere, don't they?
Yeah, that was, one of the reasons why I wanted to end up in Cincinnati last year. Just felt like it was a perfect spot for, my skill set and the way that Zach coaches, the way that Joe plays, and the attention that, our other two receivers out there with Jamar and T that they attract, that, you can get favorable matchups. And the system that, Zach has put in place and the way that they utilize, everybody to the best of their abilities, I knew that it was definitely the best fit for me. And I couldn't have drawn it up any better. It's exactly how I envisioned it. And I was super grateful to end up in Cincinnati last year and for all the opportunity that was, given to me. And obviously extremely grateful now to continue to build on that.
To watch you and Joe Burrow is a thing of beauty from a football standpoint because you're both so intelligent. Football IQ is like Mensa. And, Joe sees things so quickly, as do you. And he has, two things that the biggest thing you want to have in a teammate is trust. And you and Joe Burrow, I mean, there is super trust there. He sees something pre-snap, and then if it changes, he can immediately adapt to it and adjust post-snap, as can you. And he knows that. And no matter where you're lined up, the entire offense. And that's difficult, to assimilate all of that, all the different positions. And, there's multiple receiver positions, tight end at the end of the line of scrimmage, a detached tight end. I mean, it's amazing. But you guys, he knows that you're going to be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, no matter what. And he has implicit trust in that. And you two, I mean, I can't remember you guys being on different pages. I really can't.
Yeah, no, that's a really, a part of Joe's game that I love is that, sometimes it's not exactly how we drew it up or exactly how we practiced it, but he's able to adapt on the fly so easily and kind of see things before they happen, and gives that freedom to his receivers and tight ends and running backs and whoever's out there to just go out and make a play and just kind of give him a window and be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, but also kind of understand defense and understand coverage and understand that all right, the picture said when we installed this play on Wednesday that I should be at 15 yards and breaking in and catch this ball on the inside part of the hash. But guess what? Like, there's a safety standing at 15 and he's on the hash. Like, I think I might break this at 12 and catch it in between the hash and the numbers. And like, he sees that. And I think, being a high football IQ guy and being able to use that to both of our advantages. And it's awesome because, it allows you to just go out there and play free and, be who you are.
So, Mike, do you guys talk about that between series, or is it just something that you see on the fly and you make that kind of an adjustment, or both? I mean, does it happen both ways?
Yeah, it definitely happens both ways. There's been times, where there's adjustments made on the sideline. Hey, the safety's playing deep, kind of get your head around quick. I might be able to get it on you fast. And then there's also times where stuff just happens where, like last year we were playing Denver and, I was supposed to run a route at like 12 yards and I ran it at like 6 and he was ready for me. He got the ball on me and we ended up picking up 15 yards. So it was like, as long as you understand the concept of the play, then okay, like I know what the picture says, but I have, this amount of space and this, kind of area of the field to work with. And then you just go out there and make a play. It's been awesome to kind of let him obviously be the leader out there, but also allow everybody else to kind of go out there and, within your, part of the field, go out there and make plays.
So your tight end coach, James Casey, here's a guy that has played the position himself, and he was a dynamic athlete himself. I mean, he got drafted by the Chicago White Sox
Mm-hmm.
out of high school, played 3 years in their system, and then decided to go play football, sets all kinds of records like you did in college. He did that at
Mm-hmm.
Rice
Yeah.
and plays in the NFL. And now, now he's working with you, coaching you. What are meetings like with him? Because obviously he has you prepared, and you're one of those students in the teacher's classroom that they pray for. Oh man, I've got a once in a lifetime guy here. He
Mm-hmm.
understands the game so unbelievably well. What's the dynamic like between you and Coach Casey in terms of your evolution and what took place for you here in Cincinnati as well?
Yeah, James is awesome. James is a big part why I wanted to come back to Cincinnati. He's a big part of why our tight end room has had the success it had last year, but even the years before that, before I was even here. Um, he deserves a ton of credit based on how he coaches. Like you said, he played 7 years in the league. He understands how players want to be coached. He understands how to coach each guy individually. And I think he has a unique way of getting across to everybody, and everybody respects him. Um, so having him as our coach has been incredible for me, and like I said, was a big reason why I wanted to come back. So can't give enough credit to James and what he's done for my career, for everybody in our tight end room's career, and honestly a couple of tight ends before then. He's done a great job, and I think he deserves a ton of recognition.
You mentioned the tight end room, yourself, Drew Sample, Tanner Hudson has re-signed, Cam Grandy has re-signed, Eric All is fighting, rehab, fighting
Mm-hmm.
for rehab, a serious injury. His services this year are in doubt, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
he's still with the football team, and
Yeah.
he's learning. He's a good learner, a quick learner,
Mm-hmm.
and also Tanner McLaughlin. I mean, all 6 tight ends are already secured and on that roster. What does that say about the dynamic and the relationship between coach and player? The tight end room, let's run it back. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what happened there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It speaks volumes to James because of the culture that he's built in that room, and it speaks volumes to the front office. That they've gotten the players that they envision in that room and being successful, and that they've picked the right guys, and the guys come in with the right attitude and the right work ethic, and no matter what everybody's role is, everybody's role is a little bit different in the room, but no matter what everybody's role is, they go out there and maximize their opportunities, make the most of them, and it just translates from the great coaching that we get in the classroom, and it translates to the great coaching on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on the practice field, all the way to Sunday to making plays.
You mentioned Joe Burrow, having him as a quarterback. You had a great career at Penn State, all conference mention, all American mention,
Mm-hmm.
second round draft pick, Miami Dolphins. Tua and Mike Gesicki make some nice music together. There's no question. But then you go to New England, where the quarterback position is in flux a little bit, and don't have really anybody that can get you the football the way that you'd like to have the football gotten to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, man, Joe Burrow, this guy's a big reason. Is all of it, your coach, your quarterback, the system, the head coach, all of that. Is that a big reason why maybe if you went out into free agency, you might have gotten maybe some more, but you got plenty? I mean, the Bengals really valued your services, and they rewarded you. Was it okay? I got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Why would I want to go somewhere else with everything else that's going on here, as long as they're being fair to me?
No doubt. That's exactly what it came down to. I mentioned it yesterday at my press conference. Like, I knew I was going to have to pay the Joe Burrow tax, and I was completely comfortable doing that. As long as, like you said, it was fair, and we were able to work to make it fair. And super, super grateful to Mr. Brown and Katie and Duke and Steve and everybody that put their minds together to put together a fair contract. And just very excited to continue that chemistry, because you don't have the opportunity to play with the best quarterback in the league often. So when I got to see that firsthand last year, and got to be in the huddle, and be out there on Sundays, and playing in big games and making big plays, there's that in itself is a value. And I kind of took all those things into account, and the little bit of extra money that you make out there, like you don't get what you're getting in Cincinnati. So I'm excited to be back, and super grateful for all of the value that I was able to receive.
It seemed like the one thing that the Bengals felt like you were a core player that was extremely versatile. Like we talked about all the different positions,
Mm-hmm.
that you can play. But they also, like Zach was saying, you're so consistent, not only as a football player, but as a human being. As Paul Brown used to say, I heard him say it so many times, when you have players that are made of the right stuff, you make sure you keep those players within your organization. And you just have excellent values, on the football field as a player, off the football field, as a person. Your leadership is extraordinary as well. You seem to do everything the right way, and you're such a great teammate, and you're a friend to everybody. I mean, everybody's got everybody believes in Mike Gesicki, and this is a quote that Paul, I wrote this one down. I wanted to make sure that I got it right. Paul, I remember saying in 1974, I'm looking at Paul Brown and I'm thinking, man, I can barely contain myself. This is a
Mm-hmm.
living legend. What am I doing in there? And
Mm.
he's up there in front of the team, and he goes, "Ben," he said, "I know you guys want people to like you, and that's great. Everybody wants to be liked, maybe even loved." He said, "But when they respect and trust you, then you have it all."
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. I mean, particularly as a football player, when your teammates respect you and trust you to the level that your teammates respect and trust you, man, you have it all in that locker room. You're one of the big boys, man. I mean, guys gravitate toward you.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've learned over the course in my going on 8 years in the league, and I think I was raised the right way. My parents, my mom and dad, like instilled that in me at a young age, and then as you grow and you end up in college, I feel like I ended up at the right university at Penn State with James Franklin and the way that he ran that program, and playing there, and then I've played for a couple good head coaches in the league in terms of what I was able to learn, and say what you want about the New England style, how they kind of do things, but I played for Brian Flores in Miami, and then I played for Bill Belichick in New England for a year, and you can see the discipline and the consistency and just doing your job on a daily basis, and and that adds up to a lot. So I think just being consistent and being who you are, and then taking that and adding that with your on-field play. If you're a smart guy and you're a good person and you're a great teammate and you go out there and make plays, you can play in this league for a long time, and that's kind of something that I've held close to me for a while.
I'll tell you, the Bengals in free agency, they certainly do value position versatility, like we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Signing BJ Hill, to a nice contract. I mean, BJ can play three technique. He can play nose for you. He can kick out and play defensive end some for you. So there's position versatility there. Cody Ford gets re-upped. I mean, he can play all five offensive line positions and be an extra tight end for you if you want, a big body out there to block. So position versatility seems to be, a big plus in the organization's minds. When they have players that have it, they make sure they keep them.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's just the more you can do, and as the season goes on, some guys get banged up, might have to miss a game here or there, and then you just that you can count on whoever it may be to fill that void for that week, and until you're back up at full strength. So the more that you can do, and the more that you can be trusted, and know that you're going to go out there and execute to the best of your abilities, and that's going to be enough to help the team win. Then yes, I think that the Cincinnati Bengals value the right people.
So let's talk about contested catch, because like we said, you got height, you got length, you got big hands, you got vertical jumping ability. I mean, you get your size speed ratio, and then add jumping ability to that is extraordinary. So is contested catch, is that something that you kind of look forward to? It's like, man, when the ball's up there and it's up there, at a pretty good height. It's like,
Yeah.
they got no shot. I got this bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that I take a lot of pride in. When the ball's in the air, I'm not really thinking about I'm about to get hit, or I'm just focused 1,000% on the football and just doing anything that I can to complete the catch and bring it in. So it's something that I take a lot of pride in. I think that this year with the system that we've ran and some of the routes that I was given, it allowed me to kind of separate a little bit, and there was still some contested catch opportunities, but also able to separate. But there does come a point where you're not going to always be wide open by a couple feet or yard or whatever it may be. Like you're going to have to go up, and it's you versus an all pro safety, and you got to go make a play. So it's something that I take a lot of pride in, and it's something that I put a lot of focus into because you don't know if you're always going to be wide open, but with this quarterback, he's going to give you a chance because he trusts in you. You got to go make a play.
That's key. I mean, that trust factor again. I mean, Joe's like, all right, I'm going to, even though there's maybe not a ton of separation, I know a big Mike can go get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if he doesn't, he's going to make sure the other guy doesn't,
No doubt.
And that's the trust factor right there. He's going to make sure that the worst case scenario, it's an incompletion.
1,000%. I think that, there comes a time where, you got to be able to read the path of the ball and understand, okay, I can make a play on this, but I got to make sure that the defender cannot make a play on it. And there comes a time where you're kind of reading the path of the ball and understanding that, that decision making. But yeah, for sure. And I think that also plays a role into it for sure.
When you're out there, and again, the tight end position it's unique, and Coach Casey talks about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have to be, another receiver with your ability to run routes and catch the football and create separation. And then there are times where you're going to have to be like a third offensive lineman and block people and,
Mm-hmm.
get down and dirty on the edge and either knock people off the ball or, make sure you get position on them to hook them and things of that nature. It's a very, very challenging position. How much has he helped you with the blocking aspect of your game?
No, James has really helped with that. And I think that, Zach does a great job in terms of the game plan and not putting people in positions that are not beneficial to everybody. So, but James has done a good job helping me elevate that part of my game. So this way, when I do get called on it, you never know what situation you're going to put in the game or what personnels are going to be in the game. We call this play or that play. Like, you got to be ready to go no matter what. And that came up multiple times last year where, we still had positive plays and we were able to keep drives going. And, it breaks tendencies too, because, I'm not naive enough to think that when I'm on the field, teams are thinking it's going to be a pass. But I think when we're able to mix it up and also throw in some runs, then it keeps the defense honest and just adds to our offense being able to make more plays in more situations.
I would think too, when you're lined up at the receiver position, there'd be, hey, you know what? We run the ball to the outside here to Mike's side.
Yeah.
He's working against like a safety or a corner,
Right.
Not a defensive end or an outside back or whatever. We got a nice little advantage here too from a mismatch standpoint because he's working against these guys the whole game on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got him out there in space working against a smaller human being. I mean, that's a plus for you from a mismatch standpoint as well, isn't it?
No doubt. And with our coaching staff and the way that they can get creative in terms of game plan and what different play designs and all that kind of stuff, they, like I said, use everybody to the best of their abilities, and they're also creative to be able to break tendency and keep defenses honest. So that's absolutely a great point.
You remind me a lot of Bob Trumpy. I don't know if you've heard that name. He was a legendary player with the Bengals as a tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and a tremendous broadcaster in the Hall of Fame for his broadcast work.
Yeah.
He had the voice, man. He had an unbelievable voice, but he was a phenomenal athlete like you. He played basketball at Illinois as well as football. I mean, I think he got drafted in the ABA if I'm not mistaken. He could have played professional basketball or professional football, but big, long, tall, deceptively strong for his body type like yourself. I mean, he could run routes. Bill Walsh, the legendary coach, he was our offensive coordinator as such. He would use Trumpy like they're using you.
Yeah.
and put them in positions where you get mismatches and made them play defenses they were uncomfortable playing because of his ability to create those mismatches. And I just feel like when you have somebody like that creates those kind of advantages, it's unique. It doesn't come along very often. When did you decide, or when did you feel like, you know what, I can read coverages, man? And like Trumpy, he would read coverages post snap just like Kenny Anderson did, our quarterback, and they'd look at each other and they had a nod or a salute or something. Where, do you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
I see this preset. Is that what goes on with you and Joe?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely, a point of that where, you got to be on the same page and you got to see the same thing through the lens of the quarterback. And I would say, about after my third or fourth year, like around year 4, I started to figure it out. Trying to understand defenses more. I played with Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami, and he is like such a smart football player. And I mean, I would be at the line with him, and this was my second year in the league, and I'm supposed to be running like a 5-yard stick route, and he would look at me and be like, "Mike, run a seam," and I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, no, like the play is for me to run a stick. Like, you're trying to get me in trouble. Mike, run a seam, and then he'd throw me the ball and be wide open. Like, and it was at that point I was like, okay, like this is different, and like as long as you're on the same page with the quarterback, like there's big plays to be had because you call the play thinking you're going to get a certain look, but now you line up and the defense is giving you something completely different, and there's a void in the middle of the field. Okay, well, as long as you're on the same page as the quarterback, let's go make a play. And that's kind of where I started to figure it out after like my second or third year. And now, obviously, being in Cincinnati, where Zach allows that kind of freedom with the players, and then Joe does a great job of being intelligent and getting guys in the right spots, and never doing anything reckless where it's like, oh, I thought I saw this. Like, no, like he knows that he knows that he knows what is going on, and that's the biggest factor in terms of kind of changing plays at the line or getting the offense into a better play or changing the route for a single play or whatever.
I had a nephew, or I have a nephew, I should say, Brian Lapham, who was like an all-league Ivy League offensive lineman at Harvard, played with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, okay.
And he said,
Small
man,
world.
yeah, he said, like you're saying, man, he not only was like unbelievably sharp from a football mind, but just overall raw intelligence. One of the smartest human beings walking around. That he's been around. That's such a big plus. And I remember my rookie year again with Paul Brown. His big thing was you would get graded. He installed the playbook one play at a time. Like morning practice, we'd have one run. And at the end of practice, it was team drill, live, no tackling, with one run and run
Yeah, right.
over and over against all kinds of different defenses. Then the afternoon with one pass. Day 2 runs, 2 passes, and you would install the the playbook on that basis. And you couldn't wait to get to week 2 to have a little image.
No.
But this whole thing was, he said, all right, I'm going to have you guys. He came up to me and said, look, I want you to diagram when you get tested, like he gave tests all the time, make sure that you were up to speed with your assignments. And he said, I'm going to give you 2 grades. I'm going to give you a grade in the upper left-hand corner on your assignments. I'm going to give you another grade on the upper right-hand corner on everybody's assignments on every play.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, I'd never been exposed to that kind of thing. And he goes, yep. He goes, yeah. I want you to not only know what you're doing, but why you're doing it. And know what else. If you're a pulling guard, there's a center reach and tackle blocking down, fullback filling, what's going on in a running play or in protection. Why are you responsible for the inside blitzer and not the outside blitzer? Or do I have you responsible for both? Check him. If he doesn't blitz, get him. I want you to know why for all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, from that point on, football became light years easier. I mean, it was like, whoosh, because all of a sudden you're understanding why. And that's the big thing, right? I mean, when you look out there and you see coverages, you not only understand what you're looking at, but you understand why they're doing what they're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a huge part in understanding the game of football because it slows down the game and you're in your stance and you're looking out there, you're like, okay, like I'm not getting the ball here, but I know T's about to be wide open, or it's just like you're able to play so much faster, you're able to play so much more confident. You're able to see things before they happen, anticipate things. And we got a lot of smart football players here in Cincinnati, so it's definitely a lot of good traits to have. Excited to kind of see that build again into another season. Obviously, the core of this team has been together for a couple of years, but this is only my second year, going on my second year here. So I'm excited to kind of see it grow again.
And you're definitely a core player. I mean, you're a big concrete block in that foundation, man. That's why they wanted you back to be part of it. I guess obviously everybody's talking about the slow starts that you've suffered,
Mm-hmm.
in the last 2-3 years, getting off the mark. And there's no magic formula. There's no potion or whatever, or else you'd already have done that, I
Right.
mean, and there's different reasons every year for starts to seasons. But do you feel like a point of emphasis to get off to a little bit faster start, not have to crawl out of a hole?
Yeah, I think it is for sure. Obviously, we know what we're capable of that second half of the season. We got hot, and if we could have ended up in the dance, then who knows what happens. But we put ourselves in a little bit of a hole, and we did everything in our power to dig ourselves out of it, and we got damn near close. But it is what it is, and now moving forward, I think that everybody has that awareness and understanding of the beginning of the season and what we need to do to attack it just a little bit differently. We're not far off. I mean, like you look back at last year, and it's not like those games are blowouts. It's one play here or there, and before you know it, you're 3-0 instead of 0-3, or 2-1 instead of 0-3. Like it's not far off. So I don't think you need to you know do something super dramatic and reinvent everything and all that. But there is some minor tweaking that I'm sure that we can all do, and it's going to take everybody, and it's not just on the coaches or just on the players, or it's everybody, and we're all involved.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I know the rest of the league. When you guys rattled off 5 in a row to end the season, the rest of the league's like, man,
Yeah,
I'm glad they didn't get in.
no
I,
doubt.
I don't want to play these guys. I mean,
Hmm.
they're on a roll right now. I mean, they're playing as good a football as anybody, and that's been the case in November and December. When you have to be playing your best football as you're getting ready to go into the playoffs, that has not been an issue. I mean, at the end of the year, you guys when you're full throttle, man, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that everybody in the building understands that. And I think maybe it's just I don't know specifically what it is yet, but I think that by the time training camp rolls around, there will be a system put in place, and by week one, we're gonna be ready to roll.
So you and Hallie met at Penn State, right?
Yes.
And the rest is history. I mean, you're partners from
Yeah.
that point on. You guys like to travel. What did I just see? Where you were recently in Switzerland?
Yeah. So Hallie and I are both from New Jersey. Met at Penn State. Her family actually has a house, like a summer house that they would stay at in essentially my hometown. We didn't know that until
Huh.
forever. So who knows if we crossed paths before then? But and then we got married in 2022, and since then we just been traveling in the off seasons and have kind of been everywhere. So it's been a lot of fun. We went to Bora Bora on our honeymoon. We went to We've been to Paris, London, Monaco. I mean, everywhere in between. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been super cool to kind of travel out there. Went to Italy last summer. So it's been a lot of fun, man. We've really enjoyed these off seasons, and the downtime that comes with it. Because obviously when you're in the season, it's a grind, but that's what you work for. And then the off season, we've been able to have a little bit of fun.
So I remember, going on cruises and going to some of these countries,
Hmm.
and being a bigger person, they'd look at you like, "What the heck?"
Oh yeah, yeah, no
They
doubt,
probably look at you like, "What do you do? What?"
no doubt, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it is funny to kind of you get a couple double takes, and
Right,
and they got no idea who you are, so it's not that they're just like, oh man, that guy's big.
right,
Yeah,
right. It's so. Do you have a favorite memory of a journey, or they all have things
yeah.
that?
I mean, they're all special for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, our honeymoon was incredible in Bora Bora. That was a hike to get there. Went from Newark to San Francisco, which was like a 6-hour flight, and then San Francisco to Tahiti, which was 9 hours,
Whew.
and Tahiti to Bora Bora, which was quick. It was like 20 minutes, but like it was definitely a hike to get there. But once we got there, it was special. Between that one, the coast, the southern coast of Italy was fantastic. I mean, there's so many cool places in the world, and we've been fortunate enough to go experience a couple of them.
And you got to do some sort of documentary, NFL player Mike Gesicki and his world travels. I mean, it's like, have the league pick up the tab for some of these trips, man.
I know. Honestly, I'm sure they would too. So I got to look into that.
You probably have a pretty good travel agent, don't you? Or do you do it all yourself?
Yeah, I've definitely had some help booking the honeymoon. That one. Sometimes though, I just kind of put it together myself. I just hop on Google and make it work. But we definitely have had some assistance on a couple of trips.
I'll tell you, you're a multi-talented guy. There's no question about that. The other thing is, you were like an academic All-American. Now, you had the studies to go with it. What did you major in, and why did you select that major?
Yeah, so I went to Penn State, majored in advertising and public relations. Just kind of felt that was, something. I didn't know specifically what I wanted to do if it wasn't football post-college, and ended up, choosing that major, and had, a couple friends that were doing it as well, and a couple guys that have done it before me. And it was just kind of suggested to me, and I rolled with it, and it was awesome. It was great. It was a great major. It was a lot of fun to, learn and all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely, a great experience, and, something I'm grateful for. To get a degree from Penn State is, something that I cherish.
It's funny. We get something in common there. I went to Syracuse, to the Newhouse School of Communications, and they've got, public relations as a major. I was a major in public relations, and my minor was in communications, TV, radio,
There you
all
go.
that kind of stuff. But I wanted to, I was interested in the public relations world as well. So we kind of get that in common, Mike.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I can't run routes and catch, I can't do those kind of things.
Well, there will be a day in the next, 7 or so years where I can't do it either, and then I'm gonna try to do your job. So.
Oh, there you go. You'd be outstanding. I mean, you get an interest in the broadcast world or communications world when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to play football. I mean, I feel great right now. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to play for, who knows, year 12, 13, 14, who knows. But I'd like to only be halfway through my career at this point. But when it's all said and done, yeah, I mean, I'd love to stay around the game and, do something of that sort. And whether it's, no matter what it is, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, whether it's sideline stuff, who knows what the heck it is. But if that opportunity ever came, it'd be cool.
You'd be awesome. You'd be outstanding at it. A man of many talents, Mike Gesicki. And I'll tell you what, a very kind man as well, because, again, I've abused you. I've used a lot of your time.
I got nothing going on, man. I got all day.
And you're so good. Love visiting with you. You're extremely intelligent, and love talking football with Mike Gesicki. You're the best, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. And any trips planned? Anything coming up here?
Nothing lined up yet.
Okay.
Potentially in the summertime, after OTAs, in between OTAs and training camp, maybe go to Greece, but we'll see. That could be next on the list. I might need a travel agent for that one though, so we'll see.
I've been there.
Okay.
Do NFL Europe, Spain and Greece, recommended highly.
There you go.
It's a good little trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that dog will hunt. You can check that off on your list of places.
Absolutely.
Multi-talented Mike Gesicki. Can't thank you enough. Have the best day ever had, my man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Dave Lapham here. While games are over for the season, there's no off-season for In the Trenches with Dave Lapham or First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics gave away great prizes during the season, which will continue with exclusive content in the First Star Media Group YouTube channel. So please, do me a favor. Subscribe to In the Trenches, hit the like button, and visit the First Star Media Group YouTube channel for exclusive content and special giveaways.